Valerie. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I understand that better now. But I guess I still prefer public transportation. Allows you to think. And, you know. Right, right. Right, right. Well, I take it it was a man,
It's has to be.
I'm sorry. Not this summer. I accepted like a July part-time thing. And I don't, my contract ended in Southhold. So I'm, working on ultimately moving to Chicago. Working as a tech. So I have to engineer on that. I have to empty out the home. And with my sister, figure out how to sell things. So not really. A lot going on. Right. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on the business. Sometimes they can want, sometimes they get less.
You're only five. Yes, it's very wrong. It's 5'2".
Yeah.
I mean, it even says of 12. So somebody needs to put a battery. Tell me that would be Mr. Dave.
What's going on?
Nothing much. How was your I was home.
Oh, how was
It was good. I went to every year I go out to Mayfield. Oh, yeah. Marissa's family. You know, the aunt has a house there. Oh, wow. It's Jefferson and the gas station. Right on there. And then you go, they go to, everybody walks down to the beach. But last night, just when it was getting dark, the wind.
Oh, sure.
I had done the storm. We were sitting on the back deck. It was just.
Where should I do this?
Oh, it's so.
Yeah.
Absolutely love. She's right.
No, that's fine.
And you take that and
You go right away.
huh?
You make something up.
When we went to Bayville.
More illustrious than I am.
Left, okay. There's the fire station on the corner of the main drag and Jefferson. She's about 5 houses down. And all you have to do is come over, walk down. Of course, yeah, down there.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the beach because I was in the house, it was nice and cool. Then when it's getting a little better.
Start on that.
Out there, and it was.
Forty and 56 now, so I wasn't even.
I'm gonna say, Doesn't matter, somebody left it there, I think.
So I guess that
So
makes me a
all the
perfect
cousins
parenting person.
are there, you know what I mean? So it's, yo, hi Karen, hello, how are you? I'm fine, we had my relative Justin, that was somebody's wedding, I gotta get rid of that. God, oh, here's the kids. There's the kids inside, I was like, oh, and in bags. She was leaning on with the phone. Yeah, that was later on.
It's nice when they.
Yeah, but they. These
My
are
goodness,
their
no
cousins, they're.
for me. When you're done. Never done. Thank you, Annie.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is nice to see you here this nice humid Sunday morning. Welcome to UUCCN, Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Central Nassau. Today's service will be led by Reverend Valerie Rezaman, and she'll be joined by Miss Annie LeBeau. Both are returning guests, and we appreciate you both very much. As you know, we are people worshiping together from many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. We are here to help one another do the difficult work of seeking meaning, acting for justice, living with integrity, and walking with one another in peace and love. We hope that this hour set apart from daily concerns will renew our spirits, strengthen our love for one another, and embolden us to bring reconciliation wherever we find division. And it is good to be together.
Anita asked me to share some words about myself, so I'll say I'm a Nobel Peace Prize winner. No, I'm just kidding. I until recently served as the contract minister at the Unitarian Universalists of Southold, which is one of your Long Island congregations on the far east end. But I grew up in New York, and I've served congregations in New York, Ohio, and New Jersey. And I serve on the board of the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for the Earth, which, shameless plug, if you're on Facebook today or if you go to their website, you'll find a reference to a wonderful virtual service they are doing to our interdependence and a call for further interdependence, not independence. So I'm going to call you all to worship this morning with the words of Leslie Takahashi. Come, come, whoever you are. Come with your hurts, your imperfections, your places that feel raw and exposed. Come, come, whoever you are. Come with your strengths that the world shudders to hold. Come with your wild imaginations of a better world. Come with your hopes that it seems no one wants to hear. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, we will make a place for you. We'll build a home together. Ours is no caravan of despair. We will walk together. Come, yet again, come. We light our chalice this morning with these words from Elizabeth Seal Jones. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. If you could join me and rise in body or in spirit and sing our opening hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
We'll do the 3 verses that are under the music. I'll just wait for you to find them.
Okay, here you go.
Now my senses all feel the deep power of being all. Deep in the web of creation.
And now we will read our affirmation, the responsive reading of UU values, which are in your order of service. Love is at the heart of our values.
We promise to live our values every day with love at the center of all things.
Equity is the value of our inclusive community.
We believe in the inherent worthiness of all.
Interdependence teaches us we are all connected.
We will only be made whole when we live as co-inhabitants of the world.
Justice is essential for peace and building a beloved community.
We will work to dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions.
Generosity expresses compassion, gratitude, and hope.
We will offer our faith, ourselves, and our resources.
Pluralism encourages respect for diverse beliefs.
And allows us to be curious as we learn from one another.
Transformation allows us to adapt to an ever-changing world.
We are evolving and growing. We are never perfect.
Candle lighting.
We will light our peace candle with the prayer and the hope for some peace in the world, within ourselves. It is now time for our land acknowledgement. We are here on the ancestral lands of America. We are here on Turtle Island to be caretakers, to gather in a good way, to be one with Earth's children in all of their forms, those of the straight lands, mountains, and valleys, those of the rivers, streams, and oceans, and air in the sky above us. Let this land acknowledgement guide us in our return to unity. Let us remember that we are relatives to all beings, those who walk on four legs, those who fly close to Creator, those who swim in the ponds and in the seas, and crawl all over the earth, all of the mammal people, the living green creatures that give us shade and food, the spirit energy in stones, boulders, and earth's crevices, and all of the created world. Let us live in harmony, practice kindness, and share our love for one another. UUCCN is a community of people who strive to be welcoming, caring, hospitable, and loving. We know that the spark of our joys can be amplified when we share them with people who are cheering us on. And the weight of the burden of our sorrows can be lightened when shared with those who have committed to our mutual well-being. Now is a time when we may share a joy or a sorrow that is in our heart this morning. If you would like, please raise your hand and I will recognize you. Yes, Charlie?
I can't believe I spent yesterday indoors in the heat reading the Pope's encyclical. Have you read this magnificent document?
No.
It's a magnificent document. It speaks of the dignity of men and women, equal rights of men and women. This is from the Southern Catholic Church. He speaks of the dignity of people and of interdependence. It could have been written by a Unitarian. The Pope would be very at home right here in this document.
Oh, that is
I'm
so
thinking
good
of
to hear.
inviting him. And if he comes, he would feel right at home. So it gives me joy to see some progress
Yes.
towards sharing our values from the Catholic Church. So thanks be to God for him. And my concern continues to be my sister Susan, who is battling cancer. And my daughter Miriam, who was grieving for a long time friend. You know, the life has its beginnings, its middle, and end, and it's good that we all help each other. And thanks for letting me share and letting me.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to hear that the Pope is progressive,
Yeah.
moving us forward.
Read it, you have spare time. It's a long document, but can't read it all in one setting.
Mhm.
But it could be written by the values, they're right there.
Well, they're pretty universal values, just to be a decent human being, you know? I mean, so I'm glad that he feels that. I have a joy. We celebrated my stepfather's 90th birthday last Sunday, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful event. Lots of love in the room, neighbors and friends of his, family. We had good food, good weather. It wasn't boiling hot. We were so lucky we did it last weekend and not this weekend. So it was a very joyful affair. And it was also my parents' 68th wedding anniversary on the same day. So we had lots to celebrate. They were both dressed up to the nines. Very cute. The aides dressed them up so cute. I mean, it was really, really sweet. So that was a very joyful experience that I had last weekend. Is there anyone else who would like to share? Yes, Charlotte?
So I think most of you know that camp was this big week camp on Sunday. So tomorrow will mark the longest week I've ever had. Wow. 11 years of nursing, and I hate it. So I think it's good for me, but it's been a little bit rough, feeling like I'm missing a part of my body.
Yeah.
So joy and concern. They had a power outage at the camp, and I'm sure that's very exciting. For
Yeah.
them, and I get to hear about it tonight.
That's fantastic.
What's that?
Enjoy yourself?
I don't know, we get our first phone call
Oh.
today. Friday, so I got a letter, we were writing letters to each other, which is like, another, it's kind of a nice practice, I can't remember the last time I wrote a letter. Someone else can.
I'd just like to thank Charlotte for cleaning up the back room of the, nobody ever sees. Because it's just full of junk. And there's other things, it needed a lot of attention. Thank you so much for being.
That gives us great joy. Great joy.
You're definitely on house.
Thank you.
Valerie?
I just want to say, we're so lucky to have Andy to fill it.
Yes,
I just said to Jerry,
Yeah.
she's so good.
Yeah.
And I love the souls that you choose, you know? We're really lucky. That's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you, that makes my day.
That's
Thank
it,
you
ditto
very
for me.
Yeah, thank you.
May we remember, oh, do we have one more? Leslie? Oh, Leslie, I'm sorry.
I have like a little story.
Okay.
Okay, so, every Jewish holiday, we get together on Passover. And through the years, you know, some of the uncles have passed away, but there was always cousin Sandy. And, we put the two families together, my husband Harriet, her family, and my little family was ever around. Usually my brother at this point. And, all of a sudden we go, well, where's cousin Sandy? Cousin Sandy is missing. We can't find cousin Sandy. So grandchild Avi goes to the police, we put in a missing persons report and everything. And it's been about a month and I said, any news about cousin Sandy? No. Well, the other day we were playing Scrabble and Harriet gets a phone call and Avi calls me and says, we found where we think cousin Sandy is. What happened? He left his apartment and, we don't know exactly where he went. But the landlord broke into the mailbox because he wasn't paying his rent. And they found a place, you know, a nursing home in the city somewhere. So now we called up and we think maybe he's there. So that's the story of cousin Sandy. So we're relieved that we probably found him.
But you haven't found him yet?
No, well, I think he's in the nursing home because there was mail in the nursing home. The nursing home sent mail to his address. So it's like a big mystery that we're all trying to solve. Yeah. She called the nursing home, I don't know, but nobody answered her because she had the machine. So we'll see what happens. Also, I'd like to say, for the oppressive heat, it was really tough, not only for me and the dog, but for my plants, all the plants that I made and, you know, everything that, you know, we start from seed and they're like your little babies. And some of them were really starting to droop, they had to water a little extra. And so many evenings, some of them, I go, oh, I hope they make it. But I'm very happy that it rained this time, right? Yes. They all popped up today.
I wasn't sure whether.
Everything went back up today, except a couple of things dried out, but the tomato plants popped up, so it's gonna be a better day tomorrow.
That is definitely joyful news,
Yes.
for sure. May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts. And now it is time for our Thanksgiving and our offering. Thank you for your support of UUCCN. Your pledges, donations, and volunteering sustain our congregation as we are 100% dependent upon our members, our friends, and our guests. Please give today with the site, uuccn.org. One of our traditions is to share our Sunday collection plate with another organization whose work aligns with our values and principles. For the month of July, we are sharing our collection plate with the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. We support a primary school there. The pumpkins at our annual pumpkin patch, our biggest fundraiser, are grown on Navajo land, and many of the workers who tend the pumpkins are Navajo. Supporting the education of Navajo children is a way that we can give back and support that community whose effort supports ours.
This is a meditation from Susan Ensweiler. Allow your eyes to close. Put your feet in a comfortable position, maybe shoulder width apart. Straight in your chair, but not uncomfortably so. Breathe deep. Imagine yourself on a wide, flowing river in a small boat. You are one little speck of being in a wide expanse of water bordered by rocky cliffs, towering trees, and bright blue skies. Ahead of you are boulders and white water rapids, but also calm pools and sandbars for picnics. Around you are other little specks of being, each one a person isolated in their own small boat, just like you. But together, all of you form a flotilla, and you will journey down this river together, guiding each other around the boulders, rescuing each other out of the white water, enjoying the calm of the still pools and the picnics on the sandbars. May your journey through life be the same, surrounded by friends and loved ones who will sustain you through the hard times and rejoice with you in the good times until we all reach the shore, interdependent, beloved community together. Blessed be. Our responsive reading this morning is found in your gray hymnal, number 585, Counsels by Marge Piercy. I will read the print if you could all respond in the italicized. 585. We must sit down and reason together.
Perhaps we should sit in the dark. In the dark, we can utter our feelings.
In the dark, we could propose and describe and suggest.
In the dark, we could not see who speaks, and only the words would say what they say.
No one would speak more than twice. No one would speak less than once.
Thus saying what we feel and what we want, or what we fear for ourselves and each other into the dark.
Perhaps we could begin to listen.
Women must learn to dare to speak. The men must learn to bother to listen.
The women must learn to say, I think this is so.
The men must learn to stop dancing solos on the ceiling.
After each speaks, she or he will say a ritual phrase.
It is not I who speaks, but the wind. The wind blows through me. Long after me is the wind.
When we consider the history of a nation, we think of testimonies. So first, a little ancient testimony. When we learn history, we learn it through events, and we, of course, learn it through those famous people. What we learn about often becomes foundational. Even when we re-examine things and question the narratives, we go back to the same received set of who or what is worth re-examining. But history lives in what we have overlooked, in the cracks and in the margins. The name Esteban Dorantes probably does not come to mind when you think about the so-called discovery of North America, but he was one of its most astonishing explorers. His life was first recorded around 1535, when three men came out of the jungles of northern Mexico, intersecting a large party of men who had come north from the small fort of Mexico City to look for gold and resources. Esteban and his companions were the remnants of a group of 260 conquistadors who had set anchor in what is now Tampa Bay, and for 8 years had been assumed lost. The fact that Esteban and his companions spoke Spanish and had clearly been further north and west than anyone in Mexico City had then even dreamed motivated that other party to take them back to Mexico City. Prospectors seeking gold knew they were a valuable asset to those who wanted to push further and further north. And so eventually, a second expedition was mounted. Esteban was to act as a forward guide, sending back word when he had found those cities that contained riches, and leaving a trail for those who came after. But he disappeared, or more likely was killed by those who traveled with him. His Spanish companions of 8 years, the ones who had traveled from Florida to Mexico with him, eventually went back to Spain. And within this history of the earliest years of European contact lies some undeniable lessons about white supremacy. Unlike the other survivors of that ship that anchored off Tampa Bay and through a stroke of luck came across that band from Mexico City, Esteban did not have much choice in his fate. He was an enslaved man from somewhere in North Africa, sold in Portugal to the person who took him to what became North America. And the story of Esteban is fascinating, heroic, and shameful all at the same time. Fascinating and heroic, first, when we consider the incredible survival skills that this man must have had. This man was no more aware of Turtle Island and the nations he encountered than the Spaniards he traveled with. Yet his three companions evidently partly relied on him for nearly 8 years, relied on him to communicate and survive. According to the accounts, as they traveled all across the South, from Florida to New Mexico, staying in villages where they were received as unusual visitors who could bring luck. And yet, shameful, because he was exploited for his skills. He is just the kind of other, the person who is instrumental yet often left secondary to the history books, even as they play such an important role and shaping the future. And we can only imagine Esteban's experiences because we don't really have that testimony recorded in his voice, because his story is filtered through accounts of those contemporaries who chronicled the earliest years of Mexico's colonial period. But though it may not be in his own words, it is testimony nonetheless, because it forms assumptions that we have, many of us have, to this current day. The doctrine of discovery is a legal argument that had its origins in a treaty made between Spain and Portugal in the wake of Columbus's so-called discovery of the New World, and was further affirmed by the Supreme Court in the early part of the 19th century, playing a decisive role in the myth of westward expansion, essentially labeling places inhabited by indigenous people as discovered land, and saying that therefore European settlers' rights superseded those of native people. Within the history of the doctrine of discovery, people like Esteban allow us to question who is foundational, what narratives are authoritative. For it's not just the George Washingtons, the Abraham Lincolns, even the Susan B. Anthonys that lay the foundation of history and remind us of what we need to turn to and what we need to discard. In a time of fear for our immigrant neighbors, the LGBTQ community, our Black and Brown community, can we find hope and that human nature can turn us towards love? That spiritual and moral inquiry has an effect, that human beings have evolved. Our faith calls us to point out the injustice that we are heirs to, because we have hearts and arms that can open wide with the power of both freedom and responsibility by centering love. Responsibility that questions the narratives that are repeated. So where are the bricks to build something new? The building blocks of joy, of listening, of deep questioning, and then action. How do we lean into our interdependence? I feel lifted up by this idea of counsels expressed in that Marge Piercy reading. The notion that listening to one another so deeply and carefully can change us so profoundly that we will hear things, powerful things, things that we barely know are in us, like the wind and the rushing of water, things that will spur us to action. I believe that in listening to the people, mothers, fathers, daughters, queer founders, we will build a new foundation. I think, yes, we may even have to start listening to what is driving people who so profoundly disagree with us. So what's the more modern testimony that we will build from? This recently passed Pride Month reminds us of the Stonewall Uprising, which marked that watershed event in the LGBTQ Liberation Project, a protest and a party all in one. There is one person's story, the story of Sylvia Rivera, a transgender activist who embodied a life fighting for the marginalized. Sylvia Ray Rivera, passed away in 2002, was instrumental in getting a gay rights bill passed in the New York City Council at a time when transgender people were considered too other, even by the rest of the LGBT movement. She was the originator of one of the first homeless shelters for LGBT youth. Exiled from her family at a young age, she created families of her own. She was one of the activists that built on the events of that night to keep the spirit moving where it needed to go. As a Unitarian Universalist, I have to be careful not to speak from identities that I do not share, but more from the hope of a world, a new foundation that we must build together. For it seems to me, from what I have observed, from participating as an ally at Pride, that the love LGBTQ people were not allowed to express in public burst forth that night years ago in a fierce way that will never be contained, not just in New York, of course, but around the world. And Sylvia is one of those people who showed us what it takes to continue to build on a foundation. So what do all the lives of people sort of on the margins of history, the so-called others, have to do with our spiritual lives? What is inherently useful to us when we look at the foundations, looking at what is said and unsaid about who we are as a spiritual community, as a region, or a nation? The truth is, we are building a new foundation every day with the way we live into our values, our interdependence, our truth-telling and truth-seeking. We are tasked with the great work to discover wisdom and apply love to places where it is lacking. For that, yes, we have to look at history. We have to mark the anniversaries, maybe not just in the traditional ways, but by looking at those people that maybe we didn't learn about in class and find purpose with them, purpose with those who are building something continually bold and healing. Because our ancestors are whispering to us and watching us. How will we respond? What kind of founders will we be? Blessed be. Amen. Ashe. And shalom. Our closing hymn is 1017. Are there any teal hymnals out there?
Sorry, I didn't bring the other hymn, so.
We could redo 298. I don't know.
Can we do the interlude?
That's- Oh, I'm sorry.
That would be nice. If you want to, whatever.
Here's another hymn while I'm doing my interlude.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I like improv.
I'm going to take you back now 125 years exactly to somebody very important in American music. He really was the epitome of this particular art form. And he was the first songwriter, musician, composer to sell 1 million copies of sheet music with one piece. That was written in 1899, I'm just gonna play the beginning of this one and see if you can tell me who made all this money with this tune. Yes, Scott Joplin. Yes, he was a black man from St. Louis. And he just wrote wonderful rags. And ragtime was huge from the late 1880s until World War I, when it fell out of favor because it was all, like how you're gonna keep them down on the farm after they seen Paris, they went into a different kind of music then, Dixieland, really. But he was huge. He made a penny on every sheet music. So he made $10,000 from that song in 1899. Just imagine how far $10,000 went in 1899. So I thought I would do a rag of his that you might have heard in the movie The Sting or other places. It was very popular at the racetrack in 1901 because it was called the Easy Winners, and everybody wanted to think that they had an easy winner running that day. So here is a great old rag by Scott Joplin from 1901.
Can you do 168, 1%?
168.
Simple.
One more
Our closing words are those of Andrea Hawkins Kemper. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is answering the cry of justice with the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we are called to do, and this is the call we answer now. To be the barrier and the bridge, to be the living embodiment of our values, to be about the work of building beloved community, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience. Our worship has ended. Our service now begins.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there a sweet tooth today? Is there a sweet tooth here?
Yeah, a little yes. Very nice.
Sit and appreciate music.
Why, you gonna go in the office?
Thank you for coming.
Sure, sure.
Weather.
Oh, it's really pretty. It was really.
It is a good thing. It is a wonderful thing.
Teachers were.
You want this going
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not like that. We are.
Some people.
You know, he didn't build himself up.
He's putting the books.
You're welcome.
Where's my
Oh, you did? You went to Mary Louise? I stopped. Go ahead. No, it's not that. It's Mary Louise, yeah. Because I knew you were gonna play that.
Oh, yeah.
I just forgot, like, yeah.
No, it
Yeah.
was,
It's gonna be the most.
Where you putting the books?
after meditation.
Everything is missing. I'm sorry. Exactly. That's, yeah.
That'll come down.
You know, he's just, but I have to tell you, my father brought the house. Let's say on the road stuff.
Where you show me the
Well,
roll.
for everything. They did not like it. So we would go to their house, you know, to see the car, and they would sit down and eat lunch. And the parents would flip the lights on, and that's why I was to leave. And one night, they forgot to flip the lights on, he never left. Yeah, so that was my very Louis story, yeah. So you're right, I know.
It's okay, here it is.
I can still, right?
Do the chairs go up?
Still around.
You
Yeah.
go in there.
My father was a man, right? No, yeah. Oh, what's the big skirt, you know, yeah. I'm glad you said something.
Yes.
And I feel like it's not the same. Just only one is they don't want it. Yeah, and it's hard.
You know, but.
I'm so tired.
Yes, and he told me, I don't know which one, this is why he brought me back.
Yeah, talk about it.
Oh, yeah. His wife.
Yeah, I have to see if it doesn't scratch the floor.
I know it's heavy, I can help it. Got the door? Hold on. Hit the curb. I'm worried about your simple feet there.
That's good. I think we
It's a
can,
solid piece of furniture.
yeah. Well, you know, it's not heavy. This guy. Back in Petra's office.
Because if you get, you see in here, this listed this week, right? The collection plate, where you have the big. Yeah, and, look at, the legends, it's CC, it's a big speech. Separate, what check deposit, right? So. Yeah, there's actually. Okay. There's nothing. Yes, it was. It was awful. That's what that was. What's in here now? Yeah, well. Certified. It's very cute, actually. Look. Yeah. This is the certified, was received into the membership of Lloyd Tribal Housing. Some believe. And this, the membership.
Very right, yes, that feels good.
We carry. I'm just gonna leave that to you. Oh, dude, what are they for? There's a whole thing here. I don't have a letter. The dudes, yeah. Why would you put this back in here? Okay, so what do you want to do? Make that up? I believe you also get